Welcome to the third lecture of this C programming lecture series. In last two classes, we already discussed about the basic fundamentals of C programming, that is what is operating system, what is compiler, interpreter and identifiers and all these things in last two lectures. Today's lecture will be discussing data type, format specifier and variable in details. This is the outline of this lecture. Now proceed one by one. So first topic is data types in C. So basically data type is used to declare variables as well as functions. So whenever we declare any variable or function, we need to mention the data type. It gives the information about storage of variable, that means how much memory it is going to store, what is the bit pattern it is stored. So all the information about this storage pattern is basically determined by your data types. The size of data type in C is dependent on the compiler, or else you can see the system architecture. So that means we are using different type of compiler like Turbo C, compiler, ANSI compiler, and here in DebC you are using different compiler, GCC compiler. So there are different types of compiler. The compiler varies in size. It may be 16-bit, it may be 32-bit, it may be 64-bit. So depending upon the size of compiler, the data type occupies your space. For example, integer is one of the data type. If you are using a 16-bit architecture or 16-bit compiler, then it will occupy 2 bytes. So 2 byte means 1 byte one byte is 8 bits, so 2 byte becomes 16 bit. So for integer it is occupying 2 byte of memory. If it is either 32 or 64 bit architecture, then it is going to store or accumulate 4 bytes of memory. Okay, so I'll show you with examples. Let us discuss classification of data types. Then later on I'll give one examples of each. Then here data types in C has been classified into 3 categories. One is a primary data type, or this is also called as basic data type. Then this is a secondary data type, or else you can say it is derived data type. Then another is your user defined data type. So primary data type means this is your basic data type, or you can say main data type, that is in your C programming language. So these are integer, character, float, double and void data type. These are 5 your basic data types that exist in your C programming. Coming to your secondary data types or derived data types, these data types has been derived from your basic data type, so the name it is called as derived data type, like array, pointer, function. That means to define this array, pointer, function, we depend upon the data type, basic data type like integer, character, float, double and all these things. Then coming to user defined data types, from the name itself you can say that if user can define its own data type, then it is called as user defined data type. That means the name of data type user can choose accordingly. That is called as user defined data type. Like examples are structure, union and enum. These are. Then in discussing data types, we must know what are the modifiers in C, because in data types, in basic data types, we can apply modifiers. So the name itself it modifies. That means as I told you, data types is defines the type of storage, or you can say how much storage it is occupying, how much space it is occupying in your memory. So if it is modifies that space or the change the basic meanings of data type in C, then it is called as modifier. So these are the modifier we are going to use in our C programming language, that is long, short, signed and unsigned. So let us focus over here, as these are the basic data type. So in basic data type, we write one of the data type as integer. If I am writing before integer, if I am writing, so as the modifier is used as a prefix, I can write short integer, I can write long integer, I can write sign integer, I can write unsigned integer too. That means these are the modifiers which is used along with the basic data type, that is integer. So if in 16-bit compiler it was occupying 2 byte in for byte I am using capital B. If it is occupying 2 byte of memory, then short integer will occupy 1 byte. That means it is modifying the basic meaning, that is integer was occupying 2 byte. So if I am using the prefix, that is modifier short, then it is going to occupy 1 byte of memory. So as per our requirements of memory, we can certain or we can enlarge our memory space or memory requirement by using these modifiers. So these are the modifiers we can use in our programming languages. So next, in this table, this is basically focusing on 16-bit machine. In this table we'll discuss about your data types. This is basically for integer data type and how much storage it is going to occupy. Then what is the range? Range means just like in mathematics you are using natural numbers. So natural numbers have some range in positive and has some range in negative too. So here also, as this is a number, integer is also a number. So we must know what is the range. That means what can be the maximum or minimum value for that particular data type, and what is the format specifier we are using. This format specifier it qualifies for that particular data type. That means this format specifier we use basically while writing input output statement, that is printf and scanf. So if you are not defining the format specifier, then it will not give you the value of the variable. So that will while discussing printf statement, scanf statement, there again I will come to this topic. Then first comes your character. So here it both character and integer. That means both for character and integer. So for character, whether it is signed character, whether it is unsigned character. So these are here signed and unsigned. These are your modifiers. So both for character, signed character, unsigned character. That means character is same as a signed character. So when the term signed appears, that means there is a sign. Whether it is positive or negative. So we need to remember that when the word signed is mentioned, that means it has both positive value as well as negative value. So by using 8-bit, we can represent 2 to the power 8, that is 256 numbers. 2 to the power 8 is 256 numbers. So if it is a signed number, then it has a range both in positive and negative. So this is 0. So 256 divided by 2 comes around 128. That means there are 128 numbers in positive. This is your positive range, this is your negative range. So whenever we represent positive numbers, see this will start from 0 and range up to 127. So for negative number, this will start from 1 and it will go up to minus 128. That's why the range is, in case of signed character, minus 128 to 127. And the format specifier we are using, that is %C. So format specifier is, it is used for formatting purpose, and this format specifier we use in printf, scanf statements. Okay. Then comes to unsigned character. Unsigned means there will be no sign. That means all the numbers are by default positive. So it is of 8-bit. So in 8-bit, there are 256 numbers we can represent, as there is no sign. So all are positive. So it is 0 to 255. So both for signed and unsigned character, we are using format specifier as C. Then coming to integer. Integer is another basic data type. In integer, we can write simply integer, or we can write signed integer too. So whenever the term appears signed, that means we need to remember that it has both the positive integer, positive range and negative range too. So for integer, it occupies 2 byte of memory. So 2 byte is equal to 16 bit. So the range will be 2, that means there are 2 to the power 16 numbers we can represent. So 2 to the power 16 is around 2 to the power 16 is around 64,000 something. I exactly don't remember it. 65,536. So if you divide the 65,536, this is equal to 2 to the power 16 equal to this much. If you divide by 2, this will come around 32,768. That means there are 32,768 numbers in positive side and 32,768 number in the negative side. So as we are starting from 0, so this will for positive it will go from 0 to 32,767, and for negative it will go -1 to 327 minus 32,768. So the least number is -32768 and the greatest number is 32767. That's why range we have mentioned here is -32768 plus 32767. As we know that the greater is the number in negative, the magnitude is quite small. And here in this case of signed integer, we are using percentile D as well as percentile I format specifier. So percentile D means it's a decimal and percentile I means it is integer. That means other than decimal it is binary or you can say octal, something like that. So whenever we are using either percentile D or percentile I, it doesn't matter, the output will be same in case of printf statements, right? Only the thing is varies in case of scanf statement, that we don't bother about. So you can use either percentile D or percentile I. Then unsigned integer means there will be no sign, that means all the numbers are positive. So it is 0 to 65535. Here also you can use percentile I as well as percentile D. Then coming to sort integer, as I told you, whenever we use modifier, that means here we are using two modifiers, signed along with sort. These are signed and sort, these are keywords. So integer is also a keyword. So here it is a combination of 3 keywords, and we are using 2 modifiers prior to this data type or before this data type to say that this is a signed number, that means it has both positive and negative ranges. It is a sort integer, sort because we want to modify the size of integer or we want to certain the size of integer as per our requirement. Then it is occupying 1 byte. Only integer, or you can say only integer or signed integer was occupying 2 byte. As we have used sort as a modifier, it is going to occupy 1 byte of memory. So 1 byte means it is same as your character. So in case of it is same as your signed character. So signed character, the range was -128 to 127. So I am copying as it is the range over here because it is a signed number and it is sort means it is 1 byte. Okay. So for sort integer, we are using for sort signed integer, the format specifier used is percentile HI. Okay, because if we are not using format specifier this, how will I be knowing from the value this value belongs to sort integer or signed sort integer or signed integer? So we have to mention the format specifier which tells that this value belongs to this integer range. Then comes unsigned sort integer. As it is a sort integer, the storage size will be same as 1 byte. That means it is occupying 1 byte of memory. Okay. So it is unsigned means there will be no sign, so it is 0 to 255. And from the word unsigned, here it is starting with U, so you can remember like this, percentile HU. So wherever you will come across this alphabet U, that means that this is unsigned. Percentile HU is the format specifier. Then if we want more size of integers, if we want to specify larger value than in integer range, then 2 byte is not sufficient, so we can increase the size. There is a facility for increasing the size of integer or modifying the size of integer by using your modifier long. So this is your signed long integer. Okay, so for as it is long, so it is double the size of actual size of your integer. Earlier integer was occupying your 2 byte. So if I am using long, then it will be taking 4 byte of space. So it is 4 byte means 2 to the power 32 numbers we can represent. So 2 to the power 32 is minus, this is single minus, minus 2147, this number in negative, and this number is positive. Okay, so this is the range in case of your long sign integer. So you can use the format specifier, that is percentile L for long, and as we were using percentile D for integer and percentile I for integer, so for integer you can keep it as it is D and I, and for long you can take another character, that is another alphabet, that is L. So you can use LD, percentile LI too. Then unsigned long integer. So it is long integer, that means it is going to occupy 4 byte. As it is unsigned, so there will be no numbers in negative side. Everything will be in positive side. So it is 0 to 4294, this long value. Okay. Next, for unsigned, we are using format specifier as percentile ALU. So whenever we'll be discussing we'll be writing a program using printf, scanf and printing the value of variable, there will come across again this format specifier. Next, float is another basic data type, float. Okay, so in case of your float occupies your 4 byte. So 4 byte means it is 32 bit. So this is the storage. Floating point number, you all are familiar with floating point number. That means the decimal point, it floats. That means you can write 12.34, for example, a number that is 12.34. So this can be written as 1.234 into 10 to the power 1. So this point, decimal point, is not fixed. You can change either towards left or towards right. That's why it is called as floating point. That means this point, decimal point, floats through. So in case of floating point number, you have two parts, that is your fractional part. You have two parts, that is fractional part, then whole number part, then your base. So for decimal number, base is 10. This is your whole number part, this is your fractional part. So fractional part, and this is called as exponent. That means whenever we are moving the decimal point towards left or right, accordingly the power will be increased or decreased, right? So this is your exponent. You can write this as something 1.m. This is mantissa, that means fraction. This is your fractional part, is called as mantissa. Mantissa here in computer term. Mantissa 1.m, that means this is a whole number after this fractional, after this point, decimal point or binary point. For binary number it is binary point, for decimal number it is decimal point. So after this point, whatever we are writing like 2, 3, 4, so this is your fraction, or you can say Mantissa. And the base to the power something, this is called as exponent. Okay. So this floating point number represent how many floating point numbers we can represent, we can store in memory, what is the range of that, then after decimal point how many numbers or how many up to what fraction you can exceed, and then what is the format specifier. So this number of precisions or number of decimal places or number of number you can put after this how many numbers you can put after decimal points, this varies. In some of the books you will find 6, in some of the book you will find 7. That's why I have written the range 6 to 7. Okay. So that means you can say after this this decimal point, or you can say binary point, how many numbers you can write, like 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, up to what extent you can go. Okay, so that is 6 to 7, 6 numbers you can write. After 6 it will not take, or it is 6 to 7 you can say. So 4 byte means 32 bit. So the range is 3.4 E minus 38. That means E is the exponent. You can represent like this: 3.4 into E to the power minus 38. So this is your exponent. This is your Mantissa or fraction. So exponent is, this is your base. For decimal, this E will becomes 10. For binary, E will becomes, for binary E becomes 2. So it is generalized. So E means this is your exponent. So according to the number system, you have to mention the value of E. Then in case of your double is your, the size is double just. That means if the number you are using, or in case of your arithmetic calculation, if you are expecting the number is not fitting into this floating point number, the result may exceed. So in that case you can go for double data type according to our requirements. In double data type, the size is just doubled. That means instead of 4 byte, we are using 8 byte of memory. So 8 byte means 64 bit. So in 64 bit, the number of places after decimal has been increased to 14 to 5. That means you can use more fractions over here. And the exponent also varies. Here the power of exponent was minus 38 and plus 38, minus 38 to plus 38. So here you can see it has been exponentially increased. That means the number of whenever this is increasing and decreasing, because we can float from towards left and right to adjust the number. So here it has been, you can say, almost 9 times increased. The range is at 1.7 into e to the power minus 308 to 1.7 into e to the power plus 308. So this is to the power. So this is a printing mistake. So this is to the power, exponent to the power plus 308. And the number of places after decimal point is 14 to 15. And the format specifier is used small l, percentile, small l and f. If the number after calculation or during arithmetic operation, if it is not fitting into 8 byte of memory, if the number is so large or too large, then we can go for long double data type. In long double, here you can say it is taking, or it is occupying 10 byte of memory. 10 byte means it is 80 bit. So in 80 bit, now it has been exponentially increased the power, that is minus 3.4 into e to the power minus 49322, 1.1 into e to the power plus 4932. Okay, so it has been increased, the range of number has been increased. So these all are here. In case of floating point, we are not going to use sign on sign, only your modifier you can go for is your long. Okay, so here we covered all the basic data types, that is character, integer, float, double, along with the modifiers. So as I told you, these are derived data types, that is array, pointers and functions. So these are one topic. In case of user defined also, these are one chapter or topic in your C programming. So that's why I am not covering over here. We'll come across this topic later on. Next, how to check how much memory it is going to occupy. So we have a operator that is called a size of operator. Through the size of operator, we can check how many storage location or how many bytes each data type is going to occupy. So let us check through programming in DeepC. So I am creating a new file by using Control N. I am copying and pasting the same code here, or you can say from this PPT, or I can write the code as well. Has include stdio.s. First we need to include the header file. So before writing header file, we must include the documentation part. Write a program to check the memory occupied by different data types. So this documentation part you should always write to make better understanding of your program. Your header file is included, then your void main. I have to write down the main function. The return type is void. Starting brace. Here simply I am writing a printf statement to check the size of integer. Size of integer is I need to mention the format specifier %d bytes. Then size of operator is used. Size of, this is a single word and this is case sensitive. You need to remember that in the bracket or in the parenthesis I am using integer. There are two ways of writing it. You can either create a variable or simply write down the data type. So just execute this small program. That means by this program I want to check the size of integer in DeepC compiler. So you need to save the program, and that is size of operator, size of example. As this is a C program, you should mention the C.cs extension. You need to save it, so it is appeared over here. From here you need to compile or compile the code. The error is 0, warning is 0, that means it is successfully compiled. Then you can run the program. You can see the size of integer is 4 bytes over here. So through this program, by using size of, we can check the size of your integer. Similarly, you can check the size of characters as well. Simply I am copying this sentence, Control C, Control V. Rather than integer, I am writing character. So here I want this, both the lines should appear, the second line should appear in the next line. That's why I am using escape sequence, that is your /n. So I am saving because I have modified the code. Now I need to execute. That means I am directly compiling and running the code. So now you can see it is integer is occupying 4 byte and character, sorry, I forgot to modify. So character is occupying 1 byte. So it should be character. Whatever sentence or string you are writing, that will be displayed. So character is this. So whatever changes you are doing, just save it. So now you can execute once again and see the result. So size of integer is 4 byte and size of character is 1 byte. Okay. So this is how you can check the size of different data types. Next, variables. From the word variable, you can say variable, that means it varies. Okay. So variable is the name given to the memory location. If you say in a layman term, just like all of you are using wallet, in your wallet you have different sections, you know. For different sections you are storing, somewhere you are storing the cards, all the cards, debit card, credit card and all the cards. Somewhere you are storing the coins, somewhere you are storing the notes. So for every section you have some, you know, some name. This is the card section, this is chiller section, this is note section. You can, so okay. So the every section has a name and it stores something. Or else you can take another example. Let us take an example of an envelope. In envelope you will see some address and inside the envelope you will see some content. In layman term, just try to understand. So a variable is the name given to the memory location. So assume that this is my memory location. In my memory location, this is a space. I am occupying this much of space. Every space has some name. Let us take A is the name of this location. And this is a container. This is behaving as a container and this container has some name and it stores some value depending upon the data type you are using. Okay. So if this is another space and the name is B, it is storing some 3.5. Okay. That means this is an entire wallet you can assume and it has different sections. In different sections, as this is assume that this is just like a card section. In card section you are used to put the cards over here. This is your chiller section and you are putting chiller over here. So this type of material you are going to put in this wallet depends upon the data type which we discussed earlier. In this way you can understand. So variable is the name given to a memory location. Each location has a name, that is a variable name. Each location has some value. Each location has some address too. So that address part will cover later on. So variable is the named location in memory where a program can manipulate the data. Manipulate the data means as it is a variable, so definitely the content of this variable 10, I can increment it to 11. That means it can change. That's why it is variable. The value of C variable may get changed in the program. C variable might belonging to any of the data type. That means whenever we are declaring a variable, we need to mention the data type so that compiler will get to know that which type of data it is going to store over here. Okay. So you must mention the data type whenever you are declaring. Okay. Then constructing a variable. For constructing a variable, we have to focus on certain points. That means while creating a variable, we need to follow certain rules. So in constructing a variable, it is a combination of 1 to 31 alphabets. Any of the alphabets that means you can use 31 number of alphabets. You can use a single alphabet also. That means A to Z, capital A to Z or small a to Z, or any combinations of alphabets. You can use digits also, you can use underscore also. That means a variable name can be combinations of alphabets, digits as well as underscore. Underscore is a symbol, digit and your alphabets. Some compiler allow up to 247 characters. That means a single variable can be constructed using 247 characters. But while writing the code or while writing the program, we prefer to take the variable names as smaller as possible. Just like a single variable name should be consisting of only one character also, or 2 characters or 3 characters, something like that. And if we are using any digits, then you can use combinations of alphabets and digits, combinations of alphabet underscores, combinations of all these 3. And only special symbol that is allowed in your designing a variable is your underscore. Okay? And there should not be any space between the characters in your alphabet. That means, for example, you cannot write, suppose I am declaring, I am creating a variable like V1. That means this is a combination of your, alphabet as well as your digit. There should not be any space between your alphabet and digit. It should not be like this, B followed by space followed by 1. It should not be like this. So it should be consecutive fashion. No special symbol other than underscore. That means you cannot use, this is wrong interpretation, this is a right interpretation. You cannot use V followed by $. This is wrong. But you can use V followed by underscore. Okay. So while creating a variable, the first character should be either alphabet or underscore. That means, for example, you can create a variable name as A followed by B. You can create a variable name as underscore AB. You can write the variable name as A underscore B. But you cannot write 1A because it is restricted. The first characters would be either an alphabet or an underscore. So this is right, this is right, this is right, this is wrong. You cannot use the first character as your digit. So these are the restrictions you need to remember. That means only special symbol allowed is your underscore, and the first symbol should be either alphabet or an underscore. Okay, there should not be any space between the characters, and no blanks or commas are allowed. That means you cannot create a variable name as A, C or simply A, this is wrong. This is also wrong. No space or commas are allowed. Keywords cannot be used as a variable name. So keywords we discussed in the second class probably. In keywords we have, C has 32 such keywords. Starting from A to Z alphabet, auto, break, continue, then your switch. There are several keywords, that is 32 keywords in your C. So keywords are reserved words. That means the meaning of your keyword is already known to the compiler. So you cannot take the keyword as a variable name. So while creating a variable, you should remember all these points. Once you get to know about the concept of variable, you should know how to declare a variable and how to initialize a variable. So declaration play an important part, because before using any of the variable or function, you should know how to declare it and to give some values to the variable. This part is called as initialization. every variable should be declared in the C program before it is using. That means you are telling to the compiler that this is what I am going to use my program. The name of the variable, the data type of the variable. So everything you must inform to the compiler. So that what is called as your declaration. Through declaration, you are saying, you are giving a declarative statement that this is the name of your variable, this is the data type of your variable, and all the details about this variable. It tells the compiler, this declaration section tells the compiler the name, it tells the compiler what type it is going to hold. Okay. So then comes your initialization. In this table I am mentioning both the declaration as well as initialization part. Initialization means giving value to the initialization means giving value to the variable. You can declare a variable. You can both declare and initialize in a single statement. While declaring a variable, where do your declaration section comes? In main function, after the curly braces, the first section is your declaration section. Here you can declare both variable as well as function. Okay. You can declare a variable as well as function outside main function also. So that will come across later. So syntax is data type followed by your variable name. You can declare, you can mention multiple names over here. Just like here I have written, this is your data type followed by 3 variables x, y, z. That means these 3 variables qualifies to the same data type, that is integer. That means in memory 3 locations will be created named as x, y and z. As this is suppose I am using 16-bit compiler, then it is going to occupy 2 byte of memory location. So this is 2 byte, this is 2 byte, this is 2 byte. So this is your name of the memory location, this is another name of the memory location, this is another name of the memory location. So 2 byte is, who is saying this is going to occupy 2 byte? This data type. If I write character, this is another example, character flat, character ch. That means every statement should end with a semicolon. That's why there is a semicolon. So that means it will create a variable flat, another variable ch, and this will have 1 byte size, this will have 1 byte size. Okay. Similarly, you can create a variable of double, you can create a variable of float, like this. If I want to declare as well as initialize means, as you can see, this is a container. We know how much space it is going to occupy, but still we haven't given any value to them. We haven't filled this location. So if I want to fill this location, I am giving 20 as a value. So this is declared with your assignment operator. So operator will discuss later on. So if I am writing data type followed by variable name, assignment operator some value, as this is an integer type, so I will be assigning integer value. So 20 is assigned to x, so it is going to store 20 over here. You are assigning another value to your y, 30 to y, so 30 will be stored over here. If you are writing z equal to 40, so 40 will be stored over here. if we are assigning ch equal to p, so character is basically written in single quote. So this character is a variable. The name of your location is ch. Here I am going to store a character that is p. Okay, so like this we are assigning as well as, that means we are initializing as well as declaring a variable. By this we end today's class. Next class we will be discussing about qualifiers, storage classes and remaining details of your scope of variable and all. So thank you all. You keep on commenting and keep in touch with this video. So don't forget to subscribe and connecting. Thank you all.